Welcome back to Dyslexia Friendly. Now, today is a fun one. Well, not so fun. It is the annoying part of life. Wow, I gotta adjust the mic. The annoying part about life is organizing the way your life is and strategizing it. I mean, that's not the annoying part. Once you get that overcome, then you succeed in life and you prosper. But those steps are hard. So organizations study strategies in and increasing accessibility to state and distract tests. Wow. Blah blah blah. Now, these are tools you can use to help you overcome. I wouldn't say overcome, but to combat your disability. Um, either this is dyslexia, either this is dyslexia, it is um, or it is ADD, ADHD, any sort of disability. These work with. So these are also a list of accommodations, but I wouldn't say these are accommodations as much. Most people would let you do these. One is keep track of your time. Literally, you know how every teacher says, like when you have a test, do not, do not. I know why this is keep on doing this. This thing keeps on bouncing on me and it feels really weird. I'm like, why is my mic? I hear like a bounce. I know why, because I have my wires like on it. Okay, let's move this over to this way. And I think, I made a bounce free zone, I think. Okay, so keep track of your time. Every teacher would tell you that you shouldn't spend so much time on a question, especially if it's multiple choice. And that's key because if you spend too much time on SAT and ACT, then you miss the question. And if you know other questions, then you're messed over. So here, it's kind of important. Well, it's very important to pace yourself. If you have extra time, you have a little more time for each one, but you want to know and make sure that you have an idea of how much time you have left, how much time you should spend on each question. If you really don't know something, start it, come back to it, and at the end, those are the ones you want to guess on. You don't want to look at questions that you've never looked at and guess on those because maybe you know those. That's just like, think about that. Guess on the things you might not know. So start all the things. Oh, like, I know this one. Let me come back to this. I don't know this one. Come back to this. I don't know this one. I know this one. Boom, done. That's what happens. And then at the end, you could go back. You'll have time extra because you skipped maybe like 20, right? You're like, oh no. And then you can start working through them. That is, in my opinion, the best strategy with taking the test. Next one is highlighter to mark text. Now, this is a strategy that how many people actually use this, I don't know. But it helps when you really need to focus and remember something. Um, definitely highlight your your definitely highlight text you're reading and make notes next to it. Write on it. My teacher always likes. She never wants us to have books that the school owns because we can never write in it and give it back. So she always wants us to give it. She always wanted us to give it to buy new ones, or they would give them out to us, and we would own them. So she wanted us to take notes in them, which is very important to remember what's happening in the book. Another one, if you remember a couple of episodes back, I made an episode called, let me pull it up exactly. Uh-oh, that's not good. Let me reload this one. I made one called the school planner you always wish you had, right? And this one is this is exactly what you want. You want to track your assignments, don't lose track of them, and all your homework, all the work that you need at home, make sure that you have it with you at all times because yes, it could get confusing, it could become overwhelming, and you don't want that to happen, and you want to have it laid out in a regiment's timing. You could also time when you want to do it and whatever. Now, if you have a problem with math, math, try to keep yourself organized. Sometimes I realize when I make math mistakes, it's because I can't really read what I wrote before, or it's just too sloppy and it just makes no sense. The same thing. And sometimes I run out of room, so I try to squeeze stuff in. So make sure you have extra room and you have extra room and you have graph paper if you need something for graphs, and make sure you take your time with math and don't rush it. Math is something you could always improve on. Don't rush it. Color coding, I would say, is the same as highlighting, but it's do it for different subjects. Let's say you're taking notes and you're reading something over. Oh, this is the question and this is the answer. This is the second answer. 3 different colors. These are study strategies that one could use. I'm gonna put this in as strategies. This episode I'm gonna call strategies. I think I don't really know what other words I'm gonna use for it, but you'll see. You'll be the one clicking on it. You know what I mean? Um, study strategies. So visualization. I totally mispronounced that. Visualization. Visualization. I got that right. Hey. Visualize something. Commit it to memory. Put it in your brain. Memorize it, and that should work. Oh boy. Oh boy. I was always told this. Pretend like you're the teacher. Have you ever heard that? So this one is read over the story and tell the information to someone else as if you're in a lecture. Now, what you want to do is let's say you have a friend, right? You have a friend or your parent, if you have parents at home. Speak to them and try to teach them what your material is. If you could teach it, you could get tested on it. You'll do well. You know it. If you can't teach it well, then you don't really know it. My science teacher said that when you write a lab, write it as if it's someone that knows nothing. Write it for the dumbest person. I wouldn't say dumbest because one doesn't need to be dumb to not know stuff. It just means that they can't understand it, which doesn't qualify someone as dumb. Whatever. I don't want to use dumb. PC. I don't know. Talk about what you're doing. Like don't just just say, "Oh, I got it." Speak it out. Understand it's the same thing, but like put it in new words. Don't repeat. You could teach something and say exactly the same thing. Say it in your own words. Maybe go deeper into it. Maybe if it's not necessary. And yeah, another thing is maybe work with some friends. That always helps. Study and work with friends, or maybe help them organize. You have someone to remind you. That's a strategy to keep organized and to study. And those things are very important. And remember, studying is different for every single person. People study in different ways. Some are great readers. They love reading. Some are great at writing stuff down. Some are great at speaking stuff out. I would say if you could do that, those are the best ways, I would say. There's other ways where people just take it in. Take it in. That's good also, but read it, write it, speak it. Keep that to memory. Read it, write it, speak it. Read it, write it, speak it. Read it, write it, speak it. So those 3 things are very important because those are key for studying. And organization, make sure you don't get overwhelmed. Organize, time management. Make sure when your homeworks and assignments, you give enough time for yourself to complete them. Those are key. I know people hear that all the time. Your teachers will tell you that. Maybe not in college, but in high school, you would definitely hear that. And yes, those are the keys. And there's always more. There's always more to learn, always new types of way to study, but try and it usually works. And if you really try to study, you'll do well. Now, everybody be inclusive, be accepting, and I hope everybody had a great day.